Good afternoon, everybody. So what I did so far, guys, number one, I explained how can you program the LEDs. Okay, this is one thing we already finished. Also, I explained how can you program the switches. We have 80 switches here. Okay, I didn't explain the push buttons yet, so I'm gonna explain it in the future. Also, I explain we have a buzzer here. I explain how can we use this buzzer, how it is connected. Okay, so today I also explain here the RGB LED. And in the coming lab, we're gonna use most of them. So we're gonna use the switches, we're gonna use LEDs. Also, we're gonna use the RGB LED. Okay, so and today I'm gonna explain how can we use the keypad. Also, if we have time, I'm gonna move to the LCD. How can you program the LCD? Because the coming week lab is gonna be about the use of the keypad and LCD. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the keypad first. As I usually do, I have to tell you how the device is connected, okay, and how can you program it. So here we have here a keypad, as you see here. The keypad is connected to port A, as you see here, port A. Okay, port A has 8 bits. We use all the pins here. One more thing I want to tell you guys: these are not switches, so they are not switches. They are push buttons. Okay, what is the difference between push button and the switch? I'm gonna tell you. For push button, this is like your home bell ring switch or button. So for home here, it's originally it is open circuit, so it's something like that. Okay, originally it's open circuit, and then when you press the button here, when you press the button, you actually make short circuit. You make short circuit. Here you are holding. So when I press and I hold, I'm gonna keep the short circuit. Once you release here, once you release the button, it's gonna actually be open again. But because it has a spring, there is a spring here. When you press and release, it's gonna be open again. This is how the push button works. Same thing here. So all what you see here are actually push buttons. They are not switches. How a switch is different? Switch is, in case of switch, actually here, if it is open and then you change here, you change the switch, it's gonna become short. Okay, and it's gonna continue short all the time until you change it to open again. You got what I'm saying? Because it doesn't have a spring. So once you connect, once you make a short circuit this way, okay, it's gonna continue this way until you open it again. So I hope you understand what is the difference between a switch and a push button. We have 4 push buttons in the board. I didn't explain yet how can you use them. I already explained the switches. So anyway, so what I'm saying here, guys, we have here in our keypad here, we have 16 push buttons, as you see here, push buttons. Okay, as you see here. So every push button should be like a different number or character, as I'm gonna explain. Okay, so number one, I'm gonna tell you how it is connected. So as you see here, we have conductor here, four wires or conductors, and we have 4 wires this way, as you see here, 4 and 4. Okay, so how many intersections we have here? We have 16 intersections. When you have 4 and 4, that means we have 16 intersections. And every intersection we put here a push button. So there is 1 push button in every intersection. Is that okay? Also, I told you last time, every intersection here, this is not connected. It's not electrically connected. So sometimes we draw it this way, by the way. So sometimes we do something like that to say to say it's not electrically connected. Is that okay? And you have push button here. So the idea is, or this is the most important point here to understand it, okay? The idea is every row, so we have here 4 rows. For example, you have row 1, or if you want to start from 0, we have row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3. Also, we have 4 columns here. So I'm going to call this one column 0, column 1. So let me clear it first. So here we have row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3. For columns, we have column 0, column 1, column 2, and column 3. Is that okay? So the idea is that when you push the button, when you push any button, you are going to connect one row to one column. You are going to make a short circuit. This is the main idea. So the main idea is that, look here, guys. Every switch has a unique pair of row and column, unique pair. For example, this one has 0, 0. This one has 1, 0. So this is the row, this is the column. This one is 2, 0. This one 3, 0, and so on. As you see here, every push button has a unique pair of row and column. And the idea is that when you push the button here, you actually make a short circuit between one row and one column. Is that okay? This is how it works, okay? And that's what I'm going to do in the programming, as you will see right now. So in programming, all what I need to know, I want to know which switch is connected. So if you press this one, I need to know this is the switch. You are connecting the switch at 2 and at 3, okay? So that I'm going to return the Ascii of C. If you are connected this one, here, so all what I need, I'm talking about programming. When I program it, okay? When I program it, all what I need to know is which row is connected to which column, right? And then I'm going to return the Ascii of 1. If this is the one is connected, the Ascii of 2, the Ascii of 3, the Ascii of A, and so on. If this is the one that's connected. Is that okay? You understand now? So how I can know? I'm getting very simple and very interesting idea, by the way. I'm going to tell you very interesting idea. So now the question is, again, let me summarize what I said. What I said, guys, we have 4 wires, rows, and we have 4 columns, okay? And when you press a button, you actually are going to connect one row to one column. And now I'm going to write a program to see or to know or to learn to know which row is connected to which column. Is that okay? And then based on that, I'm going to return the Ascii of this switch. So if this one is connected, so I'm going to return the Ascii of 1. If this is the one that's connected, I'm going to return 2. If this one is B, 9, 0, and so on. Is that okay? So how can you know which one is connected? I'm going to tell you. It's a very interesting idea. I'm going to tell you. Okay. So the idea is that I don't know. For sure, I don't know. Right? So I have to scan. I have to try row by row. So I have to scan. I have to try because I don't know. Right? So the idea is that these 4 pins, I'm going to make them output. These 4 pins, I'm going to make them input. Input. This is output device. Yes. Sorry, this is input device. And you make 4 input for output. Yes. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. This is somehow weird because usually for any device, you make all the pins input or all of them output, whatever. But anyway, here, so we have 4 output for input. I'm going to tell you why I made this way. I made it this way so that, look, here's the idea, guys. I have to scan. I don't know which switch is connected. I don't know. So I have to scan. So the idea is that, number 1, I have to try. So I'm going to put here 1, and then I'm going to put here 0, 0, 0, because this is output. I can write 2. This is input, so I can only read. Is that okay? So I'm going to put here 1, 0, 0, 0. Let me ask you a question. So after I do that, if I find here 0, 0, 0, 0, what it means? If I put here 1, 0, 0, 0, and then I find here 0, 0, 0, what it means? That's true. That means none of these switches in this row are connected. None of them. Makes sense? Simply because if this one is connected, it would make a short circuit. So this 5 volt, it should come to here. I should see one here. You got what I'm saying? If this one is connected, here, this one, I should see there should be a short circuit here, and the 5-volt should come to here, and the one becomes here. You got what I'm saying? So that means it is not in this row. So what should I do? I have, it is, for example, assume this is the one that's connected, okay? So here I'm gonna put here 1, because when I put here 1, I'm testing this row. So I find the result is 0, 0, 0. It means it's not in this row. What should I do now? I have to try next one, because I have scan. I have to scan. I don't know which row, so I have to try. So then I'm gonna make this one 0. I'm gonna make this 1. So now I'm testing this row. I'm testing if any of these switch push buttons are connected here. By the way, we assume you only connect one button at a time. So there are you should not. The way we did this program is only one button is connected. Okay, for sure you can change the programming if you want to make it like you can connect 2 at the same time. This is something different. Okay, so here only 1 is connected. So anyway, I'm gonna put 1 here. Again, it's the same thing. I find here is 0, 0, 0. That means that the button or the, so you didn't press any of these buttons. Does it make sense? Right? So what should I do now? I have to try next one. Yes. And then here, because this one is connected, so there should be 1 here. So once I find this one is not 0, 0, 0, that means the switch is, I already find it. So I don't need to continue scanning. So I don't need to continue. I'm done. I already found it. Okay. And then the last part as you see in the code right now is, once I know the row and once I know the column, so I know now it is in row 2. If we start from 0, 0, 1, 2, it is in row 2 and it is in column 2, right? 0, 1, 2. So once I know a row and column, and I told you every row and column should be unique for each button here. Okay. So now I have to find some way in order to return 9. If it is 2 and 2, I have to return 9. If it is a different pair, so I have to return the different values. This is the main idea. So I'm going to show you the details now. Okay. By the way, I want to tell you something important here. So I'm going to explain everything in details because you need to learn everything. However, as I'm going to explain right now, all what I need from you for testing, for exams, for the project is how can you use the keypad. So I'm not going to ask you because it's already in the slide. So but I'm not going to ask you how the keypad works. You understand what I'm saying? So all what you need is how can you use the keypad, and the way you are going to use it, it's going to be very easy to use it because it's just a subroutine. You can call the subroutine, and then you can get the Ascii of the button you are pressing. Okay, so but again, I'm going to explain everything because you need to learn it. Okay, so before I give you the details, so this is we have a subroutine. This subroutine is going to do what I explained right now. So it's going to do the scanning to see which row is connected to which column, and then it's going to return the Ascii of this key. Okay, so this is the subroutine. This subroutine is called keypad. Is that okay? So how can you use this subroutine? Because this is what I'm going to ask you about or just what you need in project and exams and everything. Okay, how can you use it? Very simple. Okay, look here, guys. In order to use it, all what you have to do just to call the subroutine. So you can in your program you can say jump subroutine keypad. Okay, and then this subroutine, once you call the subroutine, the subroutine is gonna wait. It's gonna wait until you press a button. Once you press a button, it's gonna return to the main program with the Ascii of the button you pressed in register A. You got it? This is how can you use it. Very simple. And that's all what I need from this part. I'm going to explain a lot of things because you need to learn the details, but that's all what I need you to learn here, or that's what you need for exams. But you should learn everything for sure. So what I'm saying here, guys, in order to use the keypad, it's very simple. We have a subroutine. This subroutine is called keypad. All what you have to do just to call the subroutine. Number one, so once you go to the subroutine is gonna wait. It's gonna wait. So if you don't press, so it's gonna wait in the subroutine. It's not gonna return to the main program until you press. So once you go to the subroutine, if you didn't press, it's not gonna return. It's gonna stay in the subroutine. Once I press a button here, so it's going to return the ASCII of this button in register A, and then it's going to go back to the main program. Is that okay? So it should be the ASCII in register A. Is that okay? So I'm giving you here one example to understand how can you use the keypad before I give you the details for sure. So here, what I want to do here, as you will see in the video, what I want to do here, guys, every time I press one key here, I want to see the value returned by the subroutine. I want to see it on the LEDs here. Okay, you will find this value is the ASCII, as I told you. For example, here. So if I press this key, guys, so it should return the ASCII of 1, which is 31. So once this program, once I press this one, you will see on the LEDs, you will see 31 binary. Okay, 31. Once I press this one, you should see 32. Once I press this one, you will see 33, and so on. For sure, A, this is 40, 42, right? I think 42, okay? And so on. Any questions? So yes, sure.
So it just checks the row. So press a button on a different day, it's checking a different row.
In order to get the ASCII, I need to know which row and which column. Okay, and then I'm going to use this pair to get the ASCII and return it. So I'm going to give you details, don't worry. Okay, so let me finish now what I'm explaining now, how can you use the keypad. So I'm going to, but I need both row and column. But what I'm saying, so I can answer your question quickly. So for example, here, for the row, so I already know which row because I started scanning from here. So in the first trial, I'm trying row 0. Second trial, I'm trying 2. In the third trial, I'm gonna try row 1 and 2, right? So it's easy to know which row, right? For the column, I need to know where is the 1. So the position of 1 can tell me which column. You got what I'm saying? So if the 1 is here, that means it is in the first column. If the 1 is here, that means it's the second column, and so on. You got what I'm saying? So the position of the location of the 1 is gonna tell me which column. I'm gonna explain the subroutine in details, but let me finish first. Okay, the most important thing. The most important thing is how can you use the keypad. Okay. Again, all what you have to do. So I'm gonna teach here this. So one more thing I want to see here, guys. So what I'm saying, if you press 1 here, you are gonna return is the ASCII of 1, which is 31. Okay. If you press this one, you are gonna get the ASCII of 2, which is 32. Okay. Sometimes, for example, if I want to do multiplication, if I want to do division, whatever, if I want to get a number from the user, okay, so so this subroutine is going to give me the ASCII. How can you convert the ASCII to a number? That's very easy. All what you have to do, subtract 30. Subtract 30. If it is 31 and I subtract 30, this is mainly because 0, 1, 2 until 9. The ASCII of 0 is 30. Okay. The ASCII of 1 is 31. The ASCII of 2 is 32. The ASCII of 9 is 33, and so on. You got what I'm saying? So any ASCII, if the ASCII, if it is a number between 0 and 9, you are gonna get 30 something. Okay. So all what you have to do, you can, if I get this one, if I want to get the number, just subtract 30, right? If you want to, when I talk about LCD here, look here, guys, in the case of the keypad, because I'm going to get ASCII and I need the number, so I'm going to tell you subtract 30. However, when I talk about LCD, as you will see shortly, I'm going to talk about the opposite. If you have a number and I want to display this number in ASCII, in this case, so I have a number, so you have to add 30, as you will see right now, okay? So what I'm saying is that in case of LCD, guys, I want to display number 9. I should not send 9. I have to send the ASCII of 9, which is 39, okay? Anything you want to display, you have to send the ASCII of this character, the ASCII of this letter, or this number to the LCD. Okay, anyway, so very easy. What I'm saying is that if you have a number and you want to get the ASCII, if you have a number between 0 and 9 and you want to get the ASCII, you add 30. If you have the ASCII and you want to get a number, subtract 30. Very easy. Okay, 30 hexadecimal. So let me show you. So again, it's just very easy. What I'm saying, guys, in assembly, how can you use the keypad? Very trivial, very easy. We have subroutine. Just to call this subroutine. Once you call the subroutine, this is keypad subroutine. Remember, I told you I'm gonna teach. We have many subroutines. Like last time I explained delay, YMS. I'm talking about assembly. So we have many subroutines. All these subroutines, we put them in one file, subroutine.include. This is the file you included last time. So this is one of them, keypad. Okay. So if you want to get one keystroke, from here, just to call a subroutine keypad. And then keypad is going to wait until you press any key, and then it's going to return the ASCII of this key in register A. Is that okay? So what if I want to get two keystrokes from you, the user? I want to get two numbers. So you have to call the subroutine twice. Every time you call the subroutine, you're going to get one key. You understand what I'm saying? So very simple. All what you have to do, you have to say jump subroutine keypad, and then after that you can check register A. Register A should store the ASCII of the button you pressed. Okay. So I'm gonna give you one example here to understand how it works, guys. This is the subroutine. So here again, what I want to do, as you will see in the video right now, when I press any key here, I want to see the ASCII of this key on the LEDs here. Okay, I just want to test. I want to test the keypad. I want to make sure the keypad is returning correct ASCII numbers. Okay, so the way I'm going to do it, as you see here, number one, because you are using LEDs, you have to configure the LEDs this way as we did before. So nothing here is new. This part is just initialization. You have to enable LEDs. You have to configure port B, port J output as we did before. You have to disable the 7 segments. So you have to configure port P. Nothing is new. This is just initialization for LEDs because I'm using the LEDs. Okay. For the keypad, for keypad, as I told you before, we have four pins output and 4 pins input. Okay, for the keypad. So if you want to write something like this here, it should be okay. But actually, this is similar to what we do. Before you use any port, you should configure this port input or output. So for port A, we have 8, but 4 output and 4 input. Is that okay? So actually, you don't need. If you want to do it, that's fine. But actually, you don't need. Okay, because just to make it easy, I put this one here inside the subroutine. So it's already in the subroutine. You can just use the subroutine. But again, if you want to put it here as usually we do, I'm totally fine. Okay. Because half, as you see here, guys, half input, half output, as you see here. Okay. So anyway, so most of the program we're gonna be here. So here you are gonna loop all the time here. Look what I did here, guys. Branch subroutine or jump subroutine. Here I'm gonna call the subroutine. As I told you, subroutine is going to wait until you press a button. Once you press a button, this button should be in register A. So this subroutine should return the ASCII of the button you pressed in register A. So after this subroutine, I'm gonna store A in port P, as you see, because I want to see it on the LEDs. You know the LEDs are connected to port B. Okay, so ASCII value I'm gonna send it to port B. So let me show you the video. Very easy. Any question? Very easy. So every time you want to use the keypad to get one key from the user, just to call keypad. Keypad is going to give you the ASCII of the key is the user pressed in register A. That's it. If you want to get 2 numbers, so you have to repeat keypad 2 times. Okay. So I'm going to choose a video first. You see, guys. So now it looks like I'm gonna press number 1. You will see here. It looks I pressed already. Yeah. Let me do it again. Yeah. So you can see here, guys. This is not 31. What did I do? Yeah. Look now. This is 32 because this is 3, right? And this is 2. 32 because I pressed number 2, right? So let me see when I press another button. This is 3 and this is 2, as you see here. I just want to see if the keypad is working correctly or not. This is 32. Sorry, 33. This is 3 and this is 2. Okay. So when I press number 3, you are gonna the subroutine is gonna return 33 as I told you. Okay. That's it. This is just a very simple program to test the keypad and make sure it is working. Okay. So this is looks 34, 35, and so on. Okay, guys. We have here, as you see, guys, here. So the Ascii, here you are gonna get the Ascii of A, the Ascii of B, the Ascii of C. So here I was focusing on this part. Okay, but you here you are gonna get the Ascii of A. I think it's 42, right? 43, and so on. Here is the Ascii of asterisk. Here is the Ascii of hashtag or bound sign, and so on. Okay. So this is for assembly. Let's now talk about C. Same thing for C language. It is still the same thing. We have a number of subroutines. We are gonna just use them. So let me explain the subroutines we have. Number 1, we have a keypads enable. This one is used for configuration. You have to do only one time in your program, just to configuration. Is that okay? So this one should.
Is there a matching statement for that to disable the keypad?
Yeah. Sorry. Your question is that can I disable the keypad?
Yes.
I don't need to do that.
Okay.
I know why you are thinking this way. You are thinking this way because I can enable LEDs and disable LEDs. Okay. But here's the situation is different. LEDs and 7 segment, both of them are connected to port B, right? So
Okay.
and I cannot use both of them at the same time. That's why I need to enable one and disable the other one. But here's the case is different. Okay, thanks for your question. So here, as a keypad is connected to port A, nothing else is connected to port A. You got what I'm saying? So again, guys, so the first subroutine I want to teach here is keypad enable. This one should be used only one time in your program. This subroutine is actually here is gonna configure port A input and output. That's it. Okay, this is number 1. Number 2, you have a subroutine. This subroutine is called or function. It is called get key. Get key. So this one is similar to keypad. Is gonna wait until you press a button. However, unlike keypad, this one does not return ASCII. It returns a number. You got what I'm saying? So for example, this one here, keypad, when you press 1, keypad is going to return 31. But this one, get key, is going to return number 1, not ASCII. Very simple. It's very small difference because I told you it's very easy to convert from number to ASCII or ASCII to number. Add 30 or subtract 30. Is that okay? So keep in mind, this one is not going to return ASCII. This one is going to return a number. You got what I'm saying? That means if you wanna convert this number to ASCII, you have to add 30. Okay, any questions? Why this is important? Because look here, guys. If you have the keypad and you have the LCD, so I want to get one character from the keypad, I want to display it on the LCD. As I'm going to explain shortly, or after I finish the keypad, I'm going to explain the LCD. In case of LCD, anything you want to display on the LCD, it has to be ASCII. Okay. So if you are using keypad, so I'm gonna get the ASCII in register A, right? So I'm gonna take it and send it to the LCD. Is that okay? So I'm gonna call the keypad. The keypad is gonna give me the ASCII in register A. I'm gonna take whatever register A, I'm gonna send to directly to the LCD, right? However, in C language, if you want to use get key, you are gonna get a number, not ASCII. That means whatever I'm gonna get from the get key, I cannot send it directly to the LCD. I have to add 30 to convert to ASCII before I send it. Okay. Anyway, it's not a big deal, just a small difference. You can easily convert it from number to ASCII, ASCII to numbers. But keep in mind, this one, as you will see right now, get key here, this one should return a number from 0 to 15. So this one is 10. It's not going to return A, it's going to return 10. This one is going to return 11, 12, and so on. Okay. Even this one here, it's not going to return hashtag. It's going to return number 15. This one is going to return the number 14, and so on. It's going to return just a number. Okay, guys. Okay. So now, when you have a number here, guys, and you want to convert it to ASCII, okay, there is a small trick here. The trick is, if the number is between 0 and 9, that means I have to add 30. Makes sense? I have to add 30. 30 in hexadecimal. However, in case of A, I have it's different because A is actually 10. Okay, but the ASCII of A should be 42. 42. So you cannot add 30. So there should be another way to do it. Okay, you cannot add 30. Okay, because if you add 30, you're not going to get 42. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here, same thing. So now, so again, from 0 to 9, this is easy. Just add 30. Okay. For the other ones, so I need to check because I don't know the value is coming. Is that between 0 and 9 or not? I need to check. Okay. Yes, you can check, but I'm going to make it easier. You can check if it is between 0 and 9, so add 30. Otherwise, if it is between A and whatever, D, you add another number and so on. Okay. So, but I'm going to make it easier than that. Okay. How you are going to make it easier than that? We have a subroutine, as you see here. This subroutine is called hexadecimal to ASCII. Okay. So that means whatever I get from here, I can send to this subroutine, and this subroutine is going to return it to ASCII. That's it. So if you send 1, it's going to return 31. If I send 10 L, which is 10, it's going to return 42, because 42 is the ASCII of A. You understand what I'm saying? So very simple. What I'm saying is that it's not from 0 to 9. Yes, that's easy. You just add 30. However, for these ones, no, there is another way to do it because A should be 42, 43, 45, and so on. Okay, so it should be another way. To make it easy, instead of you check if this is between, if this is between 0 and 9, add 30. If this is between A and TD, add another number, and so on. No, I'm going to make it easier than that. All what you have to do is just whatever you get from the keypad, you can send it here to this function. This function is called hexadecimal to ASCII. This one is gonna check and it's gonna do everything. So here, if it is between 0 and 9, it's gonna add 30. If it is this one, it's gonna return 42, 43, 45, and so on. Okay. So this is for this one. There is in the coming program, I'm gonna explain it in a different way, or there is another way to do it. Okay, so this is one way to do it, to convert the number to ASCII. This is one way to do this one. The other way, as you will see right now in the coming program, I'm gonna make array, as you will see. Again, in programming, I should explain different ways, okay? Because it's programming skills, okay? So don't tell me which way is better. All of them are the same, okay? But you can select, I have to teach different ways. Anyway, so what I'm saying, this is just another approach. And instead of using this subroutine, I'm gonna do it in a different way. Look how I did it. In the element number 0, I put the ASCII of 0. Element number 1, I put the ASCII of 1. Element number 2, I put the ASCII of 2. In element number 9, I put the ASCII of 9. Okay. In the element of 10, it's I'm sorry, I think I said 42. No, it's 41, right? So is that right? So A is the ASCII of A is 41. right? 41 or 42, 41, I guess. Anyway, you can check the table and see. So here, in case of 10, I'm gonna get the ask A. In case of when you get 11, so I'm gonna get B, I'm gonna get C, I'm gonna make D, and so on. Okay. So again, this is another way you can do it, as you will see right now. Okay. So this is so the other, we have two more functions. I don't think we are going to need them, but let me explain them. So the other two functions, one function here is called wait key up. So this function is going to wait until the key is not pressed, is not being pressed. Okay. So when you press, this function is going to return back. So this one is going to wait until you press. Once you press, it's going to go back. Okay. If you want to wait until I release, you know why you need it? Sometimes you need it because maybe when I press one time and you go read, you will get a number. You read again, get the same number. You read again, you get the same number. Read again, you get. So here, maybe you press one time, but your program is going to count it as you press 3-4 times. So maybe you can use this one so that when you press here, I'm not going to get any other number until you release. You understand what I'm saying? So this can solve this problem. Again, you can press one time. If you want to make it this way, it's totally fine. But if you press, and if the normal way, I should press and release. Okay. But what if I press and hold? What if I hold? So every time you call keypad, you are going to get the same number, right? So that means if I press 5 and hold, you are going to get like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I don't want to do this way. I just want to wait. I want to, in order to enter 5 and 5, so I have to press and release, press and release. Okay. So this one can be interesting, or in this case. So here in this function is going to wait until it is not pressed. Okay. So I can use these two together, as you will see right now. The last one here, I don't think we are going to need it, but I'm going to explain it. Another function, it's called key scan. So this function is similar to this one, but it's not going to wait. Okay, so this function is going to check if you are pressed or not. If you are not pressing, it's going to return with number 16. Okay, if you press any number, it's going to return a number from 0 to 15. You got what I'm saying? So it's not going to wait. This one, if you call this one, it's going to go. And if you press any number from 0 to 15, it's going to return this number. Otherwise, if you don't press, it's going to return 16. Anyway, let me tell you the conclusion, or let me summarize what these functions before I show you the program. Again, it's very easy, very trivial. If you want to use the keypad, you should learn how can you use this function. Very, very simple. Okay. So again, in C language, if you want to use keypad, number one, all the time you have to use this function, keypad enable, only one time at the beginning of your program. This is just initialization. This one, actually, what this one is going to do is going to configure port A, half of port A input, the other half output. Okay. So this is number one. Number two, if you want to read the number similar to the keypad, you can call this one get key. This one is going to wait until you press a key. And this one is going to return a number from 0 to 15. As you see here, guys, a number from 0 to 15. So this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so it's not going to return ASCII. That's why sometimes you need it as a number. Sometimes you need ASCII. I'm going to need ASCII if I want to display it on the LCD. Okay, if you need it as a number, so for example, I'm going to get a number from the user. Then I'm going to add this number to 50, or I'm going to multiply this number. I'm going to do some mathematical operations. So in this case, I don't need ASCII. I need a number. Okay, anyway. But if you want to display to the LCD, as you will see right now, I have to convert to ASCII. Anyway, so this one is going to give you a number. If you want to convert to ASCII, I told you you can just use this one, just to put the number here, the return, because this function should return integer, which is a number between 0 and 15. You can just take this return value, just put it here, as you will see right now. Okay, or you can use array as you will see right now. Okay. Also, we have two more functions. One function is called keypad up. So this one is gonna wait until the key is not being pressed. Key scan. This one is similar to the get key, but the only difference is get key is gonna wait until you press. Similar to keypad. This one is not gonna wait. This one is gonna go If you don't press anything, it's gonna return with 16. Otherwise, if you press any key, it's gonna return a number from 0 to 15. Any questions before I choose a program? Okay, so now I want to do the same program I did here in assembly. I want to do it in C. Okay, so as you see here, look here, guys. So number one, as you see here, guys, so I have to use this one in order to initialize the keypad only one time at the beginning of your program. That's okay, because I'm using a LED, so I can use this one, LED enable. Also, I have to use this one for 7-segment disable. So all this part here, guys, just this part is just initialization. Is that okay? Also here, this is the array. I'm gonna define array. Okay, and the way I make this array, as I told you guys here, this is if I ask the way I make this array, if I ask, for example, for element 7, I'm gonna get here the ASCII of 7. If I go to element 10, I'm gonna get the ASCII of 10, and so on. Okay, so I made it this way. These values I put it here, where every location has the ASCII of the number of this location. Okay, so this is a 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, anyway, let's see how the program works here, guys. So this is infinite loop. So all the time we are here is just infinite loop. Number one, I'm gonna call get key, as you see here. When you call get key is gonna wait until you press a key or a button, and then this get key should return a number, as I told you guys, from 0 to 15. Okay, and this number is going to be stored in C. C is like integer, just integer. Okay, and now I want to display the ASCII of this number. I want to display the ASCII of this number on the LEDs. So how can you do it? I can do it this way. Number one, I have to convert this number to ASCII. How can you do that? You have two ways to do it. The first way you can do it, I can say ask with the same name of the array here, and then I put here C. So I want to return is a value stored in location C, whatever. Okay, so this is how can you convert. Okay, and then this value, this is the ASCII of the number you got. I can put it in port B. I can say port B equals this value. Yes, you can do this way. Is that okay? Or you have another way to do it. I can say port B is equal to, and then you can use this function. You can use this function here. Okay, so this is a function. This function, I'm going to send C to this function. This function is going to return the ASCII of C. So you have this approach. Also, you have this approach, whatever you like, to convert a number to ASCII, and then you can send it to port B. Okay. Again, as I mentioned before, you can say port B equal to this value, or we have another way, as I explained before, LEDs on. So LEDs on. You remember what this function is doing? LEDs on. Whatever you send here in this function should go to port B. Again, so what this function is doing, whatever you send here is gonna go to port B. So if you want to do this way, it's okay. If you want to do this way, it's okay. So that's why if you see what I did here, guys. So here let me say it again. Number one, I'm gonna call get key. Get key is gonna give me a number from 0 to 15. This is number one. Number two, I'm gonna convert this number to to ASCII by getting the value in the location of C. So if C is 0, I'm gonna get this one. If C is 1, I'm gonna get this one, and so on. And then this number, I'm gonna send it to this function. And then this function should display it on port B. If you want to do this way, I'm okay. If you want to do this way, also it's okay. And then at the end here, I'm gonna wait until you release. I'm gonna wait. You know why? Because if you press and hold, so I'm gonna wait here. I'm not gonna go back to the beginning. I'm gonna wait until you release. You got what I'm saying? So if I delete this one, what's gonna happen when I press and hold? So you are gonna get a number, put it on port B, then go again, get the same number, put it in port B, go again, get the same number. So you are gonna continue reading. Okay. So no, I'm gonna wait until you release. Anyway, any questions? Any question, guys? Again, it's just very simple. Either C or assembly. Just you have subroutines. You should learn how can you use this subroutine. Very easy. Okay. Now I'm gonna now explain this. I wanted to start with the most important part. How can you use the keypad? How can you read a character? How can you read keystroke from the keypad? This is the most important part. Now I'm gonna go to the subroutine. I'm gonna explain everything, but this is just for your knowledge. Or if you just, it's a good idea because you can learn more. It's okay to learn it, but I'm for sure I'm not gonna ask about how the keypad subroutine is made. Okay, but also this is a good thing to learn. Okay, so again, the idea is that, guys, as you will see right now, I already explained the main idea. The main idea is I already have four pins here, output, and 4 input, as you see here. Okay. So the main idea is that, guys, as I told you, when you press any button, you are going to make a short circuit between one row and one column. And I have to search, I have to scan, I have to see which row is connected to which column, right? And then every button here has a unique row and column. Okay, so based on the value of the row, value of the column, I should return the Ascii to the corresponding key. Right? So I'm going to show now how this subroutine works. So in the first part of the subroutine, we have this code here in the first part of the subroutine. So here, this one, I'm going to explain how this code works. This part of the code should, here you want to check if any key before you start scanning. I want to see if you have you pressed any key before I start scanning. You got what I'm saying? I just want to make sure you pressed one key before I start scanning, right? If you didn't press any key yet, so I'm gonna wait until you press a key, and then I'm gonna start scanning once you press a key. Look how I made it, guys. So the way here, so I just wanna check if you pressed any key, right? So the way I did it here, look here, I put 1 1 1 1 1, as you see here. So if I put here 1 1 1 1, and I get here 0 0 0, what it means? It means you did not press any key yet. So I have to wait. I'm not gonna start scanning now. I have to wait. You got what I'm saying? That's exactly what this code is doing. As you see here, guys, first of all, I'm gonna output this value here to port A. As you see here, I'm gonna output 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, as you see here. Is that okay? This is number one. And then I'm gonna read port A. As you see here, I'm gonna read port A. Now I'm gonna check this 4. I need to check this 4. Remember, port A, this is port A. I want to check this 4. So as I explained before, you can do AND operation. You can mask this once, you put 0 0 0, and then put 1 1 1 1 here. Is that okay? So mask this part because I just want to check this part. That's exactly what I did. Look here, guys. I'm gonna AND 0 0 0 1 1 1 1. Okay. Then I'm gonna compare the result to 0. What if the result is 0? So if the result is 0, that means here I have 0 0 0. That means you didn't press any button. Because if you press any button here, you would connect one row to one column, and I would see here at least one here. You got what I'm saying? So anyway, so here I'm gonna compare to 0. If it is 0, so I'm gonna go back and keep looping here. So this is the first part of the subroutine. So first part of the subroutine, I'm gonna wait until you press any button. Once you press any button, I'm gonna do the scanning. I told you about. Okay. Any question here? So this is just the first part of the subroutine. I'm gonna wait until you press any button. How I can know if any button is pressed or not? Very simple. I'm gonna put here 1 1 1 1. If I get here 0 0 0, that means you didn't press any button. So I have to wait. As you see here, guys, I'm gonna keep looping here. Okay. If not, if you already pressed one button and there is a 1 here, so I'm gonna go this way. I'm not gonna keep looping. I'm gonna move to the next instruction. That means I'm gonna start scanning. Okay. So if you go to this is the subroutine. Yeah. So this is the first part of the subroutine, as you see here. And then, so I'm gonna keep looping here until you press a button. Once you press a button, I'm gonna move this way to start scanning. I'm gonna scan one by one. row by row, as you will see right now. Any questions? Okay. So now I'm gonna start scanning. I told you how I'm gonna do scanning, guys. Very simple, very simple. I'm gonna output this value as you see here. So I'm gonna put here 1, and then I'm gonna read this one. This part. I'm gonna check this part. So here, this is what I'm gonna put here. This is output. This is check. I'm gonna check this 4. If I put here 1, and these 4s are zeros, so it is not in row 0. I have to try row 1. Okay, that's exactly what I did. This is the code for this part here. Look here, guys. Number 1, this is the value I'm gonna output, as you see here. So let me make it red. So here I'm gonna output 1 1 0 0 0. Okay, because here 1. Yeah, because I want to output here 1 because I'm testing row 0 0 0. Okay. So now, then I'm gonna read port A, then I'm gonna check this 4. If the result is 0, okay, if I get 0, that means it is not in row 0, okay, so I have to go to row 1. That's what I did. If it is, okay, so if it, so I showed this, I'm gonna repeat this part again here, okay, but I'm gonna make a small difference. Instead of the 1 is here, I'm gonna put the 1 is here because I have to check. So this is how the code is. So I have this part of the code. This is to check row 0, right? And then I'm gonna have another part of the code here to check row 1, and then it check row 2, and so on. Is that okay? So what's gonna happen is that if this one is 0, if the result is 0, so I'm gonna go this way to check row 1, right? If not, if this one is not 0, that means I found it in row 0. I found it, right? So what I get here, for example, if it is not 0 0 0, that means I already found the row. So it is in row 0. So I'm gonna go to a location. This location is called row 0. If not, so I have to check row 1. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. Look here. This is the code. This is a similar code, but this is for row 2. But okay, it's the same thing. So as you will see here, the only difference is, guys, it's exactly, I'm gonna repeat the same code. The only difference, in case of row 0, I'm gonna put the 1 here. In case of row 1, I'm gonna put the 1 here. Okay. In case of row 2, I'm gonna put the 1 here. As you see, look here. For example, here, I wanna test this row 2, right? So here, if you see here, guys, I'm gonna put the 1 here, and 0 0 0 here. Okay. And then I'm gonna output it, and then I'm gonna check. I'm gonna read port A, and now when I read port A, I'm gonna compare it to 0. Now it is not 0. That means I already found it in row 0. So let me tell you very simple. So in the first part of the in this subroutine, in the first part here, as I explained here, I check if any key is pressed, is pressed, or is being pressed. Okay, if you press any key, if no, I'm gonna keep looping here. So I'm gonna stop in this part. I'm gonna keep looping in this part until you press a button. Once you press a button, and then I'm gonna move to the next part. The next part here, I check row 0. If it is not found, so I'm gonna come here to check row 1. If it is found here, so I'm gonna move to location. This location is called R0. I'm gonna tell you what we are gonna do there, right? So I'm gonna check one by one. Okay, as you see here, if I find it in row 0, so I'm gonna go to location called row 0. If I find it in row 2, so I'm gonna go to location called row 2. Is that okay, guys? So now only one thing is missing. You know what is that? How I can get the Ascii? As I told you, if I know the row, all right, and I know the column, I should be able to get the Ascii because every button has a unique pair of row and column. Is that okay? You will see right now how I made it. Okay, so I received a question right there about How I can know the column? Very simple. I can know the column from the 1. Where is the 1? You got what I'm saying? So if the 1 is here, if the 1 is here, that means the key you pressed is in row 0. If the 1 is here, there should be only 1, right? The 1 is here, that means it's column 1 or column 2 or column 3. Okay, so you can know from the location of this one. Okay, I'm going to show how we do this last part. In the last part, this is how we do it. Look here, guys. Here I define 3 arrays this way. I define 3 arrays. Okay, in this array, I'm going to call it key code 0, k code 1, key code 2, and k code 3. Okay, this is a very interesting programming. So just to try to understand it, I'm going to explain how we make it. Okay, again, what I'm explaining right now, guys, if I know the row and I know the column, how I can get the Ascii, right? So that's what I'm going to explain. How I can write code, how can I write code to do that. So the idea is that, look here, guys, I'm gonna define 3 arrays, as you see, or 4 arrays, as you see here. This array, every array should have 4 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, right? And these 4 elements should have the Ascii of each row. So here, this is the Ascii of 1, the Ascii of 2, 3, and A, because these are the four buttons of the first row, right? So here, so this one should have the Ascii of row 0. This one has the Ascii of row 1. This one has the Ascii of row 2. This one has the Ascii of row 3, and so on. Okay, then look at the idea. So the idea is, if I find the key in row 0, so I'm gonna initialize X to be here. I'm gonna say, as you see here, load X with k code 2 if I find it in 2. Okay, so if I find it in row 0, so I'm gonna initialize X with this address. If it is in row 1, so X will be here. If it is in row 2, X will be here, and then X will be here. Is that okay? Look at the idea. And then based on the location after that, so now, this is number 1. So this is, once I know the row, I know which array I have to use. Once I know the row. Now look at the idea. So for example, in our case here, it was row 2. So now X is here. Okay. So now, should I get 7? Should I return 7 or return 8 or return 9 or return C? Which value I have to return? Who's gonna tell me? Who's gonna tell me? The column. The column is gonna tell me. If it is in column 0, I'm gonna return 7. If it is in column 1, I'm gonna return 8. If it's column 2, and so on. Okay, so the column can tell me which one I have to return. You got what I'm saying? So number 1, if I know the row, I know which array I have to use. This number 1. Number 2, which value I have to take from this array depending on the column. Okay, which column? So how I can know which column? As I told you, what is the 1? Because for column, I have 4 bits. If the 1 is here, I have only 1, right? As I explained here, I have only 1 here. Okay, so if the 1 is here, that means it's row 0. If the 1 is here, should be row 1, and so on. Okay, so now I have to search for the 1. I have to find the 1. What is the 1? If the 1 is here, so I'm going to return 7. If not, so I'm going to look at the second one. If second one, so I have to return 8. If here, I'm going to return 9. If here, I'm going to return C. Okay, how I can do it programming wise? I'm going to tell you how. Very interesting. Look at the idea. The idea is that I'm going to shift, as we did before. I'm going to shift. Then when I shift, I'm going to take 1 bit in the carry. When I shift, I'm going to take 1 bit in the carry. And then I'm going to check the carry. If the carry is 0, that means it is not in this column. So I'm going to increment X. Shift again. 0, increment X. So this is how it is. So the idea, guys, is that number 1, once you know which row, I'm going to put X here. This is number 1. Now, I want to know which column. So I'm going to shift. If I get 0, that means it's not here. So I have to increment X, right? Then I'm going to check the carry. I'm going to shift again. Okay, so this is the main idea we have. So the idea is that it's something like that. For example, 1 0 0 0. Okay, guys. If it is here in the very beginning, once you shift, okay, so the carry now is 1. So I'm going to return X, and I'm done. If not, if the 1 is here, look at the idea. If the 1 is here, okay, so first I'm gonna shift. When you shift, I'm gonna get 0. So now I'm gonna increment x, right? Then I'm gonna shift again. So this is my idea. So I have to keep shifting every time I shift. If I find 0, that means it's not in this column. So I'm gonna increment x until I find the 1. So here I'm explaining it in like pseudo code. So here is the way, as you see here, guys. Number 1, I have to shift a to the right. If the carry is 1, so that means I'm done. So go to match. In match, now x is pointing at the ASCII I have to return, right? So again, I told you I have 4 values here. In every array, I have 4 ASCII values. X is here, right? Now I'm gonna look at the 1. If I find the 1 in the very beginning, so okay, so I'm not gonna do anything. So now I'm gonna take the value pointed by x, and this is the value I have to return. If not, so I'm gonna shift increment x, shift increment x. Okay, so as you see here, so number 1, I'm gonna shift. If the carry is 1, okay, I'm done. If not, increment x. You got what I'm saying? Because it's not in this row. I have to search for, I have to look for the second row and so on. Okay, and this is the code. This is how we made it. Look here, guys. Number 1, shift. Number 2, look at the carry. If the carry is 1, just to go to match. See what I did here in match, guys. I'm gonna return the value pointed by x. Very interesting idea. If you understand it, very interesting idea. If you know a row and you know the column, you can return the correct ASCII. Okay. Increment x. If not, so I'm gonna keep, as you see here, guys, I'm gonna keep looping here as long as I didn't find the 1. I'm gonna keep looping. Once I find the 1, every iteration I'm gonna increment x, because every iteration that it's not in this, I'm gonna check column by column, right? By shifting, because here you shift right. So I'm gonna shift. Let me explain it in a different way quickly. So here, these are the 4 bits here. This is column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. Every time I'm gonna shift it to the right, right? So number 1, I'm gonna check column 0, right? Because when I shift, this one is gonna go to the carry. If the carry is 0, that means it's not row 0. So I have to shift x as well. So I have to increment x by 1, because x was here pointing at 7. No, it's not 7, because it's not in column 0. Okay, so now I'm gonna increment x. So x is here now. Then I'm gonna check this bit and so on. Anyway, so I have to do this way. After I finish, x should point, x should point at the correct ASCII code. I'm gonna get this ASCII code. I'm gonna put it in register A and then return. Anyway, guys, let me summarize what I said, guys. Okay. Again, all what I need from you in this part is how can you use the keypad in assembly and C, and we're gonna have 1 lab to do that. I explained everything. I explained how it works. I explained even the programming of the subroutine. That's okay. You can just to learn it, but I'm not gonna ask you for sure how the keypad works. Okay, I care about how if you can use the keypad correctly or not. Any questions? Okay, so I'm done with the keypad, guys. It's I like it, somehow interesting idea. I like the idea of scanning. It's somehow interesting. So we have 4 output and 4 input. Okay, and then you scan. You put here 1 and see what is the result here. And then you put here 1 and see what is the result here, and so on. So it's somehow interesting to do this way. Any questions? Also, okay, so before I move to the LCD, I want to summarize all what I need from this part. All what I need from this part, guys. Number 1, in assembly, how can you use the keypad in assembly? Very simple. All what you have to do, you have a subroutine called keypad, just to call this subroutine. Okay. So when you call this subroutine, as you see here, you call the subroutine. This subroutine is gonna wait until you press a button, and then it's gonna return the ASCII of this button in register A. So once you call the subroutine, after this subroutine, you already have we have the ASCII in A. Okay. And again, if you want to display this character, you can take whatever in A, just send it to the LCD, because as we will see right now, the LCD needs ASCII numbers. Okay, keypad is going to give me ASCII, so just send it to the LCD. If you need a number, so you have to convert the ASCII to a number. Okay, for example, if the user is giving you something between 0 and 9, so you can just subtract 30. Okay, to get a number. And then after you get this number, you can use it in whatever you want to use it. Okay. For example, I want to get 3 numbers from the user, and then I'm gonna calculate temperature. Say, like you are gonna set the temperature as you will see later, or something like that. So I'm gonna get two digits from the user. Then I'm gonna set the temperature, and then I have a control system. In the control system, I wanna keep the temperature as requested by the user, and so on. Anyway, for C language, guys, I told you, number one, you have to use this subroutine, keypad enable, only one time for configuration of the port. Here you don't need to do that. If you wanna write this instruction to program port A as input and output, it's totally fine. But actually, you don't need to do that because I already put it here, so it's okay. Okay. Here you have to do that in C. Keypad enable. You have to use this one only one time in your program. And then every time you wanna get a keystroke, just to call this one. This one is gonna return a number from 0 to 50. This one is exactly similar to keypad. It's gonna wait until you press a button, and then it's gonna return a value from 0 to 15, right? And then after that, as you see here, after that you can convert it to ASCII if you want. The way you can convert to ASCII, I explained two ways to do it. This is one way you can use this function. So this function actually, I can send a number. So if I send 0, so this function is gonna return 30, the ASCII of 0. If I send 10, this one is gonna return the ASCII of A, and so on. Okay. The other way I explained it, you can use array like this one. You can use array like this one. Anyway, any questions? Okay. Now I'm gonna move to the LCD. As you see here, guys, let me go back here. Yeah, here. Look, guys. So here, as you see, we have here LCD. This LCD should have this one has two rows. Every row can display up to 16 character. So this 16 character and 16 character. Okay. So I'm again similar to what I did before. I'm going to explain how it is connected. How can you program it? Okay, as you will see right now. Yeah. So this is the LCD. As you see, we have two rows. Every row can display up to 16 character. Okay. How it is connected? I'm gonna explain how it is connected. Very easy. So now we're gonna use a new port. This port is port K. K for king. K for king. Okay. Yes. So here the LCD is connected using port K. Is that okay? How it is connected to port K, that's what I'm going to explain right now. So this is the LCD. This is the microcontroller. Number one, as you see here, I'm going to PK2 to PK5. So 4 pins on port K are connected to the data here. Okay. So how these are used? This is used if you wanna display a character, or you want to send a command, you have to send it here. What do you mean? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I mean. What I mean is that I told you what I can send. I can send either a data, a character, or I can send a command to the LCD. If it is a character or a command, each one of them should be a byte. Any ASCII is a byte. For example, I want to display number 0. So I have to send the ASCII of 0, which is 32, which is a byte. Okay. So any character you want to even space, I think it's 20 as far as I remember. You have the table, you can check the table. Even space, every character you want to display has ASCII. All what you have to do, just send the ASCII to the LCD through these pins here. Okay. But wait a second, something is confusing me here. You are telling me only four pins, and you told me every character is 8 bits. So how I can send 8 bits through 4 pins? That's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the way you have to do it, guys. Okay, for example, here we have here 4 pins. That's okay. What, for example, I want to display number 0, so I have to send 30, which is the ASCII of 0, right? So 30 is actually 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 0. So it's this way. Okay, yes, but these are 4 bits, and all what I have here 4 pins. Yes, so the way we are going to do it, I'm going to send it twice. So I'm going to send this nibble and then this nibble. So as you will see right now, so I'm going to send it twice. Makes sense, right? So every character we have 8 bits. Okay, but the connection between the microcontroller and LCD is only 4 pins. How I can do it? I'm going to do it twice, 4 and 4. You got what I'm saying? Very easy. Look here, guys, I want to tell you something. Maybe in Capstone, here I'm explaining how this LCD is connected. The LCD is connected by 4 pins. That is why if I want to send the character, I have to send it twice, 4 and 4, right? 4 bits and then 4 bits, okay? But maybe when you work in Capstone, maybe you are going to bring a different kind of LCD, and maybe you are going to connect it to 8. So you don't need to send 4 and 4. So if it is 8, so I can just send it 1 time. You got what I'm saying? The reason I'm going to send it 2 times because I have only 4 pins here. So I'm going to send 4 and 4. Okay. Same thing. This is if it is data. I told you here what I send from the microcontroller to the LCD. It can be data. What do you mean by data? Very simple. Data means character. I want to send the letter A, letter D, letter X, letter 4, whatever. Okay. So data, or I want to send a command. Okay. Wait a second. So you are telling me what I sent to the LCD, either it is data or command. Data means character. Very simple character. It can be a space. It can be equal. It can be backslash. Whatever it is, character. It can be letter A, letter B, whatever. Okay. Or it can be a command. Yes. Okay, what kind of command this we have? We have too many commands. For example, one command, I want to clear the LCD. I want to turn the LED off. So we have here a bunch of commands you can use. As I'm going to elaborate later. So just to keep in mind now, what I send to the LCD, either a command or data to display, right? And also what you should know now, in both cases, I have to send the byte. So as I'm going to explain later, every command we have also a byte. And I'm going to send it exactly in the same way, 4 and 4. Is that okay? So this is the first 4. So again, as you see here, guys, I connected 4 pins. PK2, until PK5, I connected to the LCD here. This is number 1. Number 2, I'm going to PK0, 1 pin, only 1 pin, is connected to R or S. 1 pin. So how can you use this pin? Yeah, this pin should tell the LCD, are you gonna send data or a command, right? So this is, so if you put here 0, as you see here, guys, if I put on this pin 0, so that means I'm telling the LCD, I'm sending a command. It's not data. It's not a character to display if it is 0. As I told you, I'm gonna explain later what commands you have. But for now, we have clear, we have turn off, turn on, and so on. I'm gonna explain them later. Also, if you put here 1, that means what I'm sending here is data to display. Okay. Again, very simple. So here we have 1 pin. It can be 0 or 1 to tell the LCD if you are sending data or command. Very simple, right? The last thing here is 1 pin for enable. PQ1, 1 pin for enable, right? As you will see right now how it works, okay? So the idea it works this way. Once you put here 4 bits, right? And here number 1, I have to put here 4 bits, right? Number 2, I have to put here 0 or 1 to tell the LCD if this is data or command, right? Once I do that, the LCD is gonna read this value automatically. No, I have to give the command to LCD. I have to tell the LCD, everything is ready. Now you can take the data. Command. I have to command. I have to tell the LCD to start working. How I can do that, as you will see later here on this pen. I have to generate a signal like this one. Once you generate a signal this one, you are telling the LCD now take this value. So the LCD is gonna take this value, as you will see later. Okay. So let me summarize what the way we are gonna do it. Look here, guys. I wanna display number 0. So here it has to be 30. The ASCII of 0, 30. Okay, the ASCII of 0, which is 110000. Okay. So number 1, I think we put the most significant. We put this one first here, for sure, because this one should be 1, because you are writing data. It's not a command. It has to be 1. And then I have to give a signal this way. Once I do this, so now the LCD is gonna read 0011. Okay, so now I finished half of the work. Then I have to repeat again, but this time I have to put this one here. I have to make sure this one is 1, and then I have to generate a signal this way. Once I do this, the LCD is gonna take the other 4. Now you can see 0. You got the idea? The idea very simple. So we have here 8. I'm gonna put 4. I'm gonna put 1 to tell it 1 here to tell it is data, and then I have every time you want the LCD to receive the data, you have to generate a signal like this one, as you will see later. Okay. Last thing, I'm done, but last thing I want to say, conclusion, guys. As I'm gonna explain the details next time. But for now, as you see here, the LCD is connected through port K. In port K, we don't take the whole port. We only need 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we only need 6 bits, as you see here. 4 bits here and 2 bits here. This is how it is connected. Okay, port K. Anyway, next time I'm going to explain in details how it works.